Hi everyone, so in this video we're going to take this web application where we've got a homepage, dashboard, authentication setup, the whole skeleton of authentication and users. We're going to take this and add email functionality to it. We're going to be using something called Resend to do this. Now after we've implemented, integrated with the Resend so that we can send emails on our web application to all of our users, we'll be adding a reset password option if people have forgotten their password. And we'll also be adding an email verification process flow for new users that are being signed up. Okay, so first of all, I want to just say that the code will be in the description. So if you'd like to check out the code and just use that and copy it and use it right now, you'll be able to do that and follow the steps to get everything set up. If you're wondering how we got to this point with the sign-in and the the dashboard, the full authentication system, this is something we covered in a previous video called full auth system with Next.js version 13 with the app router using all of these different libraries. So you can go and check out that if you want to set up the login system. Anyways, so the first thing we'll be doing is getting the domain and resend set up with each other. So we'll go to the place where we've got our domain part. So I've got mine on Squarespace. So I've got modernwebdevelopment.net right here. And if I want to connect that to Resend, what we'll just do is go to resend.com. You want to create an account here. I just created my account. And if you go on the left side here, click domains and click add domain. What you want to do is put in your domain. So I've got modernwebdevelopment.net. Pick whichever region you'd like. I'm going to pick this one. And now we've added the domain. So the next thing we need to do is head over to the domain website where we can add the DNS records that we need to set up on the domain so that we can tell Resend that this is something that's allowed to be done with sending the emails. So if we just click on domains here, and inside of here, I'm going to click Edit DNS. And I have no custom records set up, so we're going to just add those Resend DNS records. So there are 3 DNS records we need to set up. The first one is an MX type, so I'm just going to put MX inside of here. Put in the host name. Really just copy pasting everything here. Value is this. The priority is 10. Save. And we'll add the next one. That's a TXT, also called bounces. And it has that value, which we'll just copy in. Very simple, guys. We've got TXT here as well. Copy this in and copy in the value like so. There we go. All right, so we've just added all of the DNS records that we need to add onto our domain. So we can go ahead and close down the domain. We don't need that anymore. I'll press the Verify DNS Records button in the top right here, and it's gonna say pending. Okay, so DNS records, if you don't already know, they take a little bit of time to propagate. It can be a few minutes, it can be a few hours, depends on the place that you've hosted, on where you've parked your domain. So if you have any TTL values or time to live values that you can modify, try and set them to the lowest possible value so that you'll be able to get these propagated as fast as possible. So I'm just going to pause the recording now and get back to it once we've got this verified. All right, so that took about 5 minutes after I pressed the button. So now the domain is verified. So the next thing we'll go ahead and do is go to the recent documentation. So we'll go to the, you can just get this by do /doc/introduction. It's in the top right, just over here. And click Next.js Quick Start. As you can see, we need to create an API key. So we'll just go ahead and do that. So on the left side here, we need to create the API key. We'll just do, I'll just call this demo, all domains, add. And we'll just copy this API key. And inside of the environment variables, we'll just go ahead and put resend API key. Very simple. Hit the save button. And we'll close that down. Head back over to the quick start guide, we'll just copy in this command, npm install resend, like so. And while it does that, we'll just create an email template, step 2. So inside of this, we'll just copy the code, like so. We can use this just to test. And I'll create a folder called email templates. You can structure this in whichever way you find most convenient. Test email.tsx. And inside of here, we'll just copy that. Okay. And did it finish installing? Yep, it did. Cool. Excellent, yeah. So now we'll go ahead and copy the functionality here. We'll actually do this one. And as you can see, this is created for the post, like the routes inside of the app router. We'll actually use server actions for this. So if you don't already have server actions enabled and you'd like to follow along, you can go ahead and go to the next.config.js and copy this just to enable server actions. So we'll go ahead and create a new folder in the actions folder we've got, create emails and put send email.ts. And we'll start this out by saying new server because it's on the server side. And we'll just instantiate resend using the API key that we have just set. I was pretty sure that was resend API key. And we'll just import that from the library. Then we'll export const send email. So this is the server action. And inside of the parameters here, it'll be create email options. And we'll also have an options field, which is optional. And this can be create email request options type. It can also be undefined. It can also be not set at all. And it's a very simple function. We'll just have const data equals await resend.emails.send payload comma options, like so. We'll just log to the console as well, saying that the email was sent successfully, and return the data back to the caller, like so. Now if you just go into the components folder, what we'll just do is create a test email button, just to make sure that this actually works. So we'll create this and use the client because it's a client side. We'll do const handle submit async. And inside of here, we'll just do send email. And we'll just leave that for now. Send test email. And we'll do on click handle submit. Like so. Okay, so we got a very basic button set up here. So the parameters of this is we need a from. So this is the sender. So for this purpose, we'll just do admin and we'll do the email. So we'll do admin at modernwebdevelopment.net. Make sure that this matches the domain that you just registered. And then the next thing we'll do is to. This is a list of all the people that you want to send an email to. So I'll just send it to my own email. So modernwebdevelopmentyt@gmail.com. And now we need to set the subject. And this can just be test email. Okay. And the next thing we can do to send emails is you can either use one of three things. So you can use text, you can use HTML, like this, or you can use React, okay? And so this is text and this is HTML if you want text-based or HTML-based emails. Now, Resend has a nice feature with the email templates that allows us to have emails defined like a React component, and then we can import those directly when we actually send the email. So the way that we do this is we take the email template component, we import it, and then we set the props as the parameter of the call of the component, like so. So this needs a first name, so we'll just do John. And we also need to cast this to react.reactElement just to get the types right. Cool. So if we just put this into the nav bar here, test email button, like so, just to make sure that this works. All right, we can do npm run dev. And if we just quickly connect to this and refresh It's compiling. There we go. If we press the send test email, click that button, I can go over to my Gmail and see that admin sent me a test email saying, "Welcome, John." It's from admin@modernwebdevelopment.net. So we've actually just set up the email integration with Resend. So if you're not interested in continuing on with the reset password functionality or the email verification functionality, you can go ahead and stop watching just now. This is how you set it up so that you can send emails to your users. And now we're going to go ahead and move on with reset password. So in order to reset the password, we first need to go into the schema, the database schema where we define our user. So we need to add a couple things. So reset password token, we're going to generate a token that allows the user to basically receive an email containing a link with this token inside of it, and then they can change the password after. And this needs to be a unique token because we need to be able to identify the user with this token. And then we need to also have an expiration date, because if you want to deploy this in production, you don't want these tokens to hang around for all of time. So we'll add a reset password token. We'll add a reset password token expiry, which is a date time. And now we just need to go to users and add an action that allows the user to basically call this from the front end to reset their password. And so we'll have reset password use server, because it's a server action. And then we'll export this. And all it takes is an email. We'll do arrow-based function. Yeah, we can log to the thing. Anyways, let's get the user first. The first thing we need to do is actually verify whether this email is even a user. Right. So if we attempt to find a user and the email leads us to an invalid user, and this needs to be an async function like so, then this is not going to work. Throw new error, user not found. Okay. And now we know that the user exists. Okay. So the reset token, reset password token, this should be equal to, and now we're going to import a library called crypto. We'll import crypto from crypto. This is a built-in library inside of Node. So you should be able to just import this. You don't need to do npm install anything. And we want to generate random bytes. We'll just generate a 32-bit byte. And this is going to be toString. And we need to set this to base64 URL. And the reason why it has to be this is because we want it to be a string that's safe for the browser when we put it in the URL. So that it'll be able to be, say, localhost /auth/reset password, and the token should be, it'll be something like this, right? And the base64 URL, the .toString on that, just make sure that this is safe for a URL, and it's not going to be encoded in a way that can't be parsed. Then we need to set the expiry date. So we'll just get today, and we'll get expiry date. And this is going to be exactly what GitHub Copilot is suggesting here. We'll just +1 on the date. Okay. Then what we'll do is update the user with Prisma, and we'll just use id user.id. And inside the data, we'll simply put reset password token and reset these two. And these should be equal to these values, like so. Okay. And we also just need to push this to the database, the changes we made in Prisma. And we'll just say yes to this. This is something old. All right, great. So now we've got the reset password token, and we got the expiry date as well. We just set that, and this is set to 24 hours from now. You can modify this in whichever way you want, but we're just going to have it so that the token expires after 24 hours, so that they don't hang around for too long. The next thing we need to do is actually send an email to the user, right? So reset password email. And we'll just go ahead and copy the test email in and change the name to reset password email template. And we'll put email as one property and also the reset password token. And these should be given like so in the props. And we'll put reset password for the email. You can structure this in whichever way you'd like. And I guess we'll have a paragraph to reset. We'll copy that in. And have the href should be, this should match the domain where you're going to be hosting the web application, right? So this is just localhost, so you want to substitute this with the actual real URL, and we'll have it under /auth/reset password, and we'll have the token set to the token that the user gave us, that we've been given in the props. Reset password token, like so, okay? And then we'll be able to use search params on the page to get it. Click here to reset password, like so. And now we'll be able to use this inside of reset password to send the email. So if we just go ahead and copy the same function that we made here, do reset password, and we'll await this. Reset password email template. And what we want to do inside of here is obviously have the email and also the reset password token, because those are the fields that we need to provide in the properties. We'll remove this. Reset your password. We'll call it the same thing as here. To, so we're going to send this to whichever email was given, so the user's email, so that they can receive that and press the button. And what we'll just do now is return some kind of success message. Now we've got the functionality. We just need to set the create a form that allows the user to reset their password. So reset password form, and this uses the client-side component. That is a string. So we want to have the email be an input. We'll have a message as well, just for some feedback, like this. And we'll put div inside of here. We'll just do flex call, for, just so we have some spacing. Yeah, I guess we'll just use what's suggested, like so. Except for the onClick here. So const handle submit is an async function, and that'll be what we'll be calling handle submit. There we go. Cool, so we've got reset password, we got handle submit. What we want to do now is const message equals reset password, and this is going to be the email, and we'll want to await this. And so this is going to be a string, so we'll just set the message to the message, and then we can see that on the user's side. Now under the auth folder, we'll create a reset password folder, and that includes a page. Inside of this, we'll create the page component. So reset password page. And this should have search params. And if we just define this, it is not defined like so. We can get those from the Next documentation. So inside of the page.js documentation, we can see that the search params can get the type from that like so. And then just have it be a little cleaner like that. There we go. Now we're going to check if there's a token or if there's not a token. And if there is a token, we'll have another component called change password. Change password, what will we call it? Form. And this should, we'll create this in a second, but this is going to take the user's ID. And we'll just have that be on display so we can have it there. Change password form const user equals, wait. So if there's a token inside of the URL, we want to get the user and then we want to show them the change password form. Okay, so we'll just get the user where, and since it's a unique field, it's a unique string, we'll be able to find a unique user based on the token. And this is using the reset password token, and this is a string. Okay. We'll just change that to return like so. And we'll, of course, we'll modify the page so that it's async. What else do we have? Yeah, so obviously people will be able to put in anything as the token search parameter, so maybe it's not going to lead to an actual user. So if there's actually not a user found, what we'll be able to do is, yeah, we can just return invalid token like so. Okay, and if not, we have a valid user, and we can put user ID, and that is going to be equal to the user's ID. And then they can change the password, and we'll set that up in a second. Now, if the token is not set inside of the URL, what we'll do is return something else, which is the reset password form, which we just set. And this is invalid because we handle all cases like so. So this is basically the reset password page. So if we go ahead and do npm run dev on that, we'll be able to navigate into that page, auth/reset password, and that's going to compile for a second. And as you can see, we've hit the case where it's going to show us the reset password form. So we're inside of this now, and we have the email field. So if I put, actually, let me just sign up with a user first. If I don't, just making sure. modernwebdevelopmentit@gmail.com. Test. Okay, cool. So we have a new user now. And now we'll go back to reset password. And we'll try and reset the password for this email that we just created. And I'm just going to go ahead and get the emails here again. Reset password. If I press the button here, we can see that the password reset email has been sent. And if we go ahead and see this right here, we have the reset password. If you notice in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see that there's a token. And if I click on this, we have the change password form. Okay, so this means that since we see the change password form right here, it means that we're right here. That means that it found the user. And if I just go ahead and change a single thing, so this is an O. If I put this to I, it's going to say invalid token. Okay, it can't find the user. So I'm going to change this back to O. And now we just need to make it so that you can input the password. So we'll just do password. We'll also have a confirm password. And then we'll have a message, set message. And this is just going to be strings, all of these. Const handle submit, like so. And what we'll just do here is have a very basic setup. I think GitHub Copilot is going to give it to us. Yep, here we go. And we obviously want to use client for this. See, we got a couple errors for not using client. So let's go ahead. We got the input for the password, for the confirm password, and the button to have the handle submit. Okay, so this is perfect, and the message as well. So when we submit, first of all, we want to say if password is not confirmed password, we'll return first of all. We're also going to set the message saying passwords do not match. Okay, we need to make sure that the passwords match, right? And actually, one thing that we'll just change here is actually use the reset password token as an input to this, because what we'd like is to make sure that this is safe. So reset password. Reset password token. And this is search params.token as string, like so. Now we have the reset password token, and we'll be able to essentially go ahead and call the reset password, well, the change password action once we've created it. So we'll go ahead and create another action called change password. And this is going to be a very simple function, async. And what it takes is a reset password token string. And it also takes the password, okay? And so we'll find the user. Make sure that the user exists, of course. If the user doesn't exist, that's no good. We'll throw a new error. Now we can get the user the reset password expiry. Okay. This is very important because now we're gonna make sure that the expiry hasn't been passed. So const today equals new date, and this is a date value. So first of all, if the reset password token expiry has not been created, we'll just assume that it's expired. It shouldn't be null at this point, and we'll also check if today is later than the expiry date, in which case it's also expired. Otherwise, it's just fine. So what we'll go ahead and do is have the hashed password, and we'll hash the password exactly the same way that we do in the signup function here. We'll import bcrypt from bcrypt. So we'll use the library bcrypt. So if you bcrypt.js. So if you have not gotten this library, go ahead and do npm install bcrypt.js. This is something we used to set it up in the previous video to hash the passwords. And now we can just go ahead and update the user. Okay. So we'll do wait prisma.user.update where id user.id, and we'll have data. And now first of all we want to set the password hash, and we also want to set the reset password token to null because this should no longer be usable, and the expiry should also not be usable. We want to reset this completely. So this is how we're going to do it. And then we can say password changed successfully, like so. Excellent. Now we can go ahead and go back into the change password form and simply call this function. And we'll just say we'll call it a message. Change password, and reset password token is the first parameter. And then we have the second one, which is the password, like so. And then we'll just set the message to message so that the user has some feedback. And if we go into here, first of all, we got the reset password token. If I change this, it's invalid. We'll just go back. And now what I'm going to do is enter the password. So I'm going to just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And if it doesn't match the two password inputs, then it's no good. We can change the password. So I've put in 1, 2, 3, 4, and now the password changed successfully. So what's going to happen now if I refresh is that it's going to be an invalid token, right? Because we just reset it. So if I go ahead and sign in again, modern web development yt@gmail.com 1, 2, 3, 4. This works totally fine. Cool. So now we've set up the whole flow for resetting our password. That's awesome. Now what we're going to be doing is setting up email verification. Okay, so this is a very common thing. You want to verify that the user's emails are valid. Make sure that they are useful to have. So we'll go back into the Prisma database schema here and put email verified. And this is a Boolean. And it defaults to false. And email verification token is a string. And this is also a unique token because we want to be able to, just like with the reset password functionality, we also want to be able to identify the user based on this. Okay. So the first thing we're going to be doing is creating the email that we're going to send to verify the user when they sign up. Okay. So we'll have verify email, I guess. And this is going to be similar to this. So similar to the reset password. So we'll just copy that. And we'll have verify email template. A little messy. Should have maybe named it something else, but you get the point. It's not a reset password token anymore. It's a verify email token. Cool. And verify email for the email. And we'll just say to verify your email, click on this link. Nothing else. And we'll add that to auth, but we're going to have verify email and have the token be the same thing. Like so. Very simple. So now we have the email. Now, in the project, we already have the function, the server action to sign up users. If you have a different function to sign up the users, you just want to put the following code we're going to add inside of there. So inside reset password, we'll just copy a few of these functionalities, right? Because this is very similar. So inside a sign up, we'll have, and I'm pretty sure that this should return the user. So upon creation, so we can actually get the user like this. We'll just call it something different, created user, and this should be a user. Yes, cool. And now we'll be able to use all of this. We need to import crypto, not cluster, crypto, like so. Encode it again with a random URL. Make sure that it's base 64 URL on the .2 string. We're not going to have an expiry date. Email verification is not something where you change the password or anything, so we're not going to add an expiry date in this case. You can do that if you'd like, but we're not going to be doing that. We're not going to be doing that in this tutorial. You don't need to do that. So we create the user. Once the user is created, we'll have the reset password token, which we're going to rename to verify email token. Email verification token. We'll just make sure that the names are correct here. I'll just change that inside of the email as well to keep the consistency. We want to do npx prisma db push to generate the new types on the client. And we'll just say yes to this. Now we've got the types have been resolved, and we'll send the email saying verify your email address. We'll import send email, and we'll also say verify email template, which takes the email and the token that we just generated. right, like this. The ID should be the createduser.id. We don't need today. So upon creation of a new user, what will happen is we'll send the email. So I need to delete my user now for us to test this. So I'm going to go inside of npx Prisma Studio. And inside of here, what will happen is we got the user, users, and I got a couple emails. I'm just going to delete everything from here. All right, that's cool. So now we don't have the user. I can create it again, and we can make sure that it's correct on the email. So I'll go back into the system, click sign out to clear the cookies. Oh, we just need to do npm run dev, and we'll go back in here. Yeah, we want to clear the cookies, so we'll stay on /sign out, like so, and we'll just do sign up. So modern web development YT. So the email, I'll just put test. And that's successfully been created. So if we go back in here, we have verify your email address. It's just been sent. Awesome. Click this, and we can see in the bottom left here that the token has been given. So we've got a token, but we don't have the page yet. So what we'll just do is add this to auth, verify. I think it's verify email, right? That's what we called it. Yeah, verify email. And inside of here, I'm just going to go ahead and copy page.tsx from the reset password page, and we'll just rename all of this. If you're wondering how I'm selecting all of this, I'm just doing a Control D. I think it's Windows D on Mac, which just allows me to select all of these at once. So we'll call this verify email page. We want to get the search params, the token, and this is not the reset password token, but it's the email verification token, okay? If we can't find the user, it's invalid. And if we do find the user, we want to say await prisma.user.update, where the email verification token is equal to the token we've got. And then we'll flip the switch on the email verified. We'll set that to true. We'll also set the email verification token to null because this is no longer useful. And we'll just have a short little div with an h1 maybe saying email, email successfully verified. Have the exclamation mark after, like so. And if there's no token available, what we're just going to go ahead and say to the user is no token found. Check your email. Like so. We'll have some capitalization on there. And we can have email verified set to true. And now we can go ahead and click the link in the email. Okay, so we'll put click here to verify your email. And I think we have, yeah, we got it all up and running. So this should be good. And now we can see that the email is verified from modernwebdevelopmentyt@gmail.com. Awesome. That's great. If I modify one character on here to Q from G, for example, it's an invalid token. And if I also do it on this one, it's still invalid. So if I just go ahead and inspect the database with npx Prisma Studio, we can now see that the email verified field has been set to true, okay? And you'll just be able to use this anywhere. So if you want to verify them, make sure that they don't have access to a certain amount of features until they're verified, you can just use Prisma or whichever library framework you're using for your databases to access the database. You can just use that to access the user. But that essentially concludes this tutorial. So we went ahead and set up, let me just go ahead and do this. So we went ahead and set up the entire web application with a Resend, so that it'll allow us to send emails with the right domain. And then we proceeded to generate reset password emails. and also with the tokens and expiration dates. And then lastly, what we just did is, of course, with the verification of emails, we just set that up as well. So please hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If you have any questions or any issues with this tutorial, please leave a comment down below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.